Well, hello and welcome to everyone for this mid-innings review of the India versus England game. I don't remember what the predictions were made in the preview show, so obviously we are not going to discuss that because what we don't remember we can't discuss. But anyway, I'll just pose the first inning summary. India have ended up with 229 for 9 after the end of their 50 overs. Uh, Nikhil, Anirudh, do you think it's enough or par for the course, or maybe India are a few runs short?
Nikhil
See,
first.
I I felt they are a few short. 49 for 4 in the last 10. I think a lot of wickets that India, a lot of India's dismissals at times I felt were down to not getting it right at the wrong time. Uh, you look at, you rarely see Virat looking to go big in the power play very early. So that dot ball pressure, the Malan fielding got to him. You see how well Willie bowled there. Just never left the margin, and you don't usually associate Kohli with someone being losing out. Okay, let's go and get the big one to get going. And I think it is something that we've discussed on every side that has batted first, that you don't know when to take that first risk, and that margin of error in risk and reward reduces even further. So that's what India found out the wrong way today. Even though after that, I felt India kept repeating the same mistakes. And again, it is correct that they kept looking to go big and go aerial because everybody played well. I mean, KL Rahul played really well for his 39. Rohit Sharma was excellent for his 87. And so was Surya for his 49. But all of them got out wanting to go for the aerial shot, which I felt when you've seen it not working out, I felt all of them were 5 overs too early. KL Rahul going in that over, I felt was very, very early. Then Rohit Sharma just, I felt it was out of nowhere. He picked the googly, but again, that's what you get when you're batting first. That if you are not able to execute and you lose wickets early, then it doesn't end up well on the scorecard. So I think India could have easily gotten this to 250, 260 even by just batting normally, even after that start. So I think that's where India will feel they missed out on. It hasn't looked as normal. I don't know what is normal Lucknow surface, but it has held up. It has spun. But the challenge now remains what will it do under lights. So probably 20, 30 shot. But India can hope to defend this because you are still playing your best bowling attack. So because there's no batting depth today. So
Anirudh, coming to you, if you were to draw a comparison between the pitch in Chennai, between India versus Australia, and the pitch today, which surface do you think was more challenging to bat? The one in Chennai or the one today?
Tough question. I'd still say
Yeah, because
probably
I personally feel those two pitches have probably been the most toughest to bat in this tournament so far. Because, whenever it's not been flat, you've seen inconsistency either in terms of bounce or in terms of pace. Today, there was inconsistency in bounce, inconsistency in pace, and then there was turn. So I want to understand from you that,
I
which surface was tougher.
I don't know. I felt like this surface was probably tougher against the seamers, and that surface was probably tougher against the spinners because whatever turn we saw today was slow turn. It was not uh, like turning square when you bowled it at a 90-95 kilometers per hour pace. If you saw even Adil Rashid bowled brilliantly, and he slowed it down like I was calling for him to do it before the match started, and he slowed it down brilliantly, but once again, if you look at all dismissals except probably that of Jadeja, batters were able to play him off the pitch. I mean, not that they were able to score runs off him because the track was slow, the outfield is huge, and all those factors are there. But they were able to read him off the pitch. But I will be very interested to see how someone like a Jadeja fares here because I feel this could be a really tricky ground to play Kuldeep in. If Kuldeep can do what Adil Rashid did, he could take 2 or 3 wickets because we know for a fact that England batters will try to hit sixes. You can't stop them from doing that. So that brings Kuldeep into the game. But I would be very interested to see what kind of purchase Jadeja gets in the second innings because from what I observed, like Moeen, Livingston, and all these guys were whenever they bowled above like 88, 90 kilometers per hour, it was not really turning square or it was not really beating the bat. It was the turn was more when you bowled the ball slow, and then gave it time to spin. So I'd be interested to see that. But I agree with Nikhil, as in I felt that India are probably 25, 30, 35 short of what would have been par on this surface. 250 is par, I guess, on this track.
Yeah, before we move on to discuss how good Rohit was, because the comments are also coming in on that, I just want to, ask all those of you who are watching right now, 73 of you, please press the like button. It really serves us as a great motivation. I'm not coming up with an equivalence today because I don't feel the time's right for that one. Maybe we can do that in the review show if India win, but right now we just need your motivation and all the good vibes, so as to say, for us to, as what people say these days, manifest a good result. I don't know, but uh, on the Rohit bit, like both of you were mentioning, we also have a ticker going on which mentions the instances when Rohit has got out after 30 overs and not posted 100. uh, Nikhil, just talk about how good was he in terms of his shot selection, or maybe the pacing of the innings, how he started everything, because I personally felt that in terms of sheer batsmanship, it was at par with the innings in Chennai in 2021 in that test match. What do you make of his innings today?
Yeah, I completely agree. Also, it is how apt and ironic that we keep talking about one thing, that there are decks where a lot of people struggle, and that's where Rohit seems to be at ease. And that is something that's very, very great or special about Rohit, that he's able to find his own timing and own pace on a deck like that. He played out the first over, which was maiden. Everything went across him. He was happy to leave it. And then when Billy missed his line a bit, he came down, he hit him, then he pulled him as well, and then he again went back to a shell. Not shell, but he is again went back into position where if it's there, I'll go for it. If it's not there, I'm not too perturbed by it. And I think he was also not helped by wickets falling at the other end, but still there were very few moments where you felt he was in trouble. So which is why I find that shot at 87 even far more uh, frustrating, that this was again, this is not about getting a big 100. This is about getting batting into those 40s, because if you have Rohit Sharma batting into the 40s, this total would have been far more different. And with the way Surya was going at the other end, having already seen how KL got out, I felt India, see, it's a very thin line between uh, wanting to stay aggressive and taking that risk. So I think today he aged that margin very well till a very good amount of time, but probably just got out at the wrong time, because we'll see. Obviously, we'll see how England play, but I think the wicket of KL and Rohit could eventually be the turning point of this game, because I felt they got into a very good position after those early wickets, and it's just the expectations, right, of Rohit. We talked
Yeah.
about Rohit, we spoke about him earlier before the tournament started, that he'll be very hungry and he'll come up with a special performance, and he's done that right through. So kudos to him for getting to that score. But yeah, I think he'll himself know that missed out on those extra 20, 30 runs that could have easily, and it could have been even more had he batted through. So it's just the risk did not work out for him for that shot.
Yeah, as you were mentioning about the short selections and how Rahul got out at the wrong time, which could turn out to be the turning point. Ashish Vaishnav is asking a question on similar lines, that thoughts on the rash shots played by Kohli, Shreyas, and Rahul. All three of them got out to similar shots and within the 30-yard circle. Anirudh, coming to you, uh, what did you feel about the pitch in general? Like, why was, firstly, if we talk about Shreyas, this is his second dismissal on the short ball right now, and there are already a lot of comments coming in that maybe his time's running out or it's his last game. What do you, and it's something which you also said in the preview. You said that this is probably the game for Shreyas Iyer to do well, and on a pitch like this where there's some turn, where the pitch is, where the pace is slow, you expect Shreyas to do well. What do you
Yeah.
think is really plaguing him right now? Is it just wanting to be too aggressive, or is it just his technical weakness being caught up and being exploited by the opposition wholly and completely?
I mean, I think, yeah, I think he's desperately wanting to assert his dominance whenever bowlers go short to him, that he wants almost to prove a point that he can play the short ball, and that has kind of resulting in his downfall. And I felt that's what's happened against here against England. Then we saw it in the New Zealand match. Then also I thought, you remember that Asia Cup dismissal against Harris Roth. He played a similar pull shot that he hit straight to mid wicket. So I think he's really wanting to kind of break this narrative that he's not good against the short ball, and he's trying too hard, and he's in turn that is resulting in his downfall. So unfortunate for India and for Shreyas. But I was talking about this before the match started, and I really wouldn't be surprised now going forward if Hardik replaces Shreyas in the 11 and not Surya Kumar, especially after Surya's performance today. 49 he scored, and again he also looked set for a pretty big score, maybe 65 70 if he has stayed till the end. And I'll tell you why. Because why is Shreyas Iyer in the 11? Because if a couple of early wickets fall, he's there to be like this bank that can stop India from going or sliding even further, and probably giving them that extra assurance in the middle order and batting out. If it's like 5 for 2, 6 for 2, you want Shreyas Iyer to stay with one of the batters and take it to like 80 for 2, 90 for 2, so that a 5 for 3 situation does not happen like it did in 2019. That is the USP of Shreyas Iyer. He's supposed to be a run accumulator. He's supposed to be a kind of a bank for you in the middle order. But that's two occasions now, against Australia in Chennai and now in England, against England in Lucknow, where India have lost two early wickets and Shreyas Iyer has departed immediately, third wicket. So if your supposed collapse stopper is is also collapsing, then I don't really see the point of Shreyas being in the 11, because he can't do what Surya can do, and KL does what he does 10 times better than him. So what does Shreyas Iyer bring to this Indian 11 now if he's gonna not even perform when the side is losing early wickets? So if you think in this along these lines, I feel that it could be curtains for Iyer going forward, and maybe either Ishan Kishan comes in or Hardik Pandya comes in. So unfortunately, Iyer is not helping his case, and he can really have no complaints if he gets dropped. He's been given 6 matches, and he's had at least 3 great opportunities to kind of show that he belongs to this level. He belongs at number 4, and he's had like 3 bad failures. So I feel that this could be the last time we're seeing Shreyas Iyer in this World Cup at least.
Nikhil, coming to you, against Sri Lanka, you play Shreyas, or do you look to make that change?
I'll probably give him another game. And again, as Anirudh said, the issue isn't the lack of scores. The issue is the manner in which he's approached all of those innings. And he's looked good. It's not that he hasn't looked good. Even against New Zealand, he looked good for a major part of it. But then it's just maybe playing too much in the mind. And again, he's the best person, and the management are the best person to talk it out in terms of why has it gone so much in that direction that he wants to take on every short ball. You don't have to take that on every short ball that's coming your way. You'll have to pick. See, Rohit also gets out on the pull shot, but that doesn't stop him from playing. But then he's also very selective in terms of which one he wants to go after and which one he's happy to leave. So I think that's where Shreyas has to make that call, and has to make that call very, because as Anirudh said, a lot of his USP was being able to stop a collapse, being there to resurrect the innings. At this point of time, you are eventually playing more shots when you are in, and I don't think that's why you are in the team for. I mean, as we had a comment right now from Akhil, I think, who said he leaves those short balls, gets in. He's the better guy to take care of Rashid, Livingston, Moeen Ali, everybody. So you're not looking at the bigger picture as well, which is not good from the team POV as well. That you can't look to dominate short ball and forget that these are the bigger battles that the team will have to fight if I get out early. So he definitely gets another game. But again, it might just have to be a call that hope they just works out for them so that he comes in, or otherwise Surya has done himself no harm, that they could potentially just have Surya at 6 and shift Rahul and Hardik to 4 and 5. And I don't think it would be a wrong call also.
On the contrary, just to give a different point of view, I feel that if you are bringing in someone like a Kishan, right, it would be better to ease him into the World Cup by giving him a game against Sri Lanka rather than throwing him straight away into like South Africa and then
No, but
one
I'm
more
not
match.
going to pitch ball.
No, no,
Which is why I said
I'm just saying in case you're looking, or else also if the management have already decided that look, Surya is better suited to be in this 11, considering the the construct of this batting unit, then give him Sri Lanka game as well because he's already scored a 49. Now you are giving him an opportunity to build on this innings and gain even more confidence before the knockout stages arrive. So it's a very big call, and like I said, it's a very big call, and you can't blame the management if they drop a year because 6 games is a pretty good sample size in a tournament like a World Cup before dropping a player.
Yeah, fair enough.
and also, Paji, I want to ask you about your call on Gill. Where is it going wrong for him in the start? Because he's just getting with him also. He hasn't looked himself in.
Yep.
He's got starts, but he hasn't looked himself since a while.
Yeah, I felt last game was a soft dismissal. Instead of just going for a half-hearted shot on that delivery, you might as well, go for the full Monty on a ground like that. Against Bangladesh, scored a 50. Probably just wanted to continue dominating. Maybe wanted to finish the game early, but again, that should not be an excuse. But today's dismissal is one that is worrisome. Not only for this World Cup, it's worrisome for his whole career trajectory because if he's wanting to become a three format player, I don't think it can happen with that weakness of his where almost every pacer is looking to exploit that that weakness where the in swinging delivery or the in dipper is going through the bat and pad. So it's a dismissal which is very disappointing. And again, like we've mentioned about Shreyas, that a dismissal, when it starts becoming a pattern, it starts bearing a lot on your mental aspect of the game because you're consistently and constantly thinking about that dismissal itself, and you are, in order to save yourself from getting dismissed that way, you just find a way to manufacture different dismissals out of nowhere. What I felt when Shreyas was batting today was that he was waiting far too much on the back foot, which is why I felt he also missed out on a couple of deliveries that he could have driven well. But that short ball was just playing on his mind. Anyway, moving forward, we'll now move to the chasing bit. But a second shout out for likes because Janvi said that we should be the ones doing mid show for Star Sports. We have 90 people right now, so at least we should be getting what 75 likes or 72, whichever. If we have an 80% conversion rate, it should be 72. So at least 70 likes should be there. But now coming to you, to both of you, who do you think holds the key for India with the ball, and what plans do you see from India in the first 10? Nikhil, maybe you can go first.
Today, I don't think is the day that India can afford Siraj to have an off start. Uh, I'm very interested to see how they go with the new ball. I think uh, if the dew is already there, you will have to strike very early and you'll have to strike consistently to defend a score like that. So, very keen to see if India go with Bumrah and Shami as the new ball option because it will not be a bad ploy. I think you can use Siraj differently. We've spoken about this in the past as well. So if there isn't much swing and maybe if you give Siraj two overs as well and you feel that it isn't doing much, might not be a bad ploy to switch to Shami early on, and you have to take the top three early because I think this is the day and the score where somebody like a Malan or Root they could just sit and just anchor this chase better. And if it's due and if it's coming onto the bat, even Johnny Baba will not mind playing his shots. So you have to take new ball wickets, and today isn't the day that you can afford to having an off spell. So uh, I don't know whether this is a very good test, but I think going deeper into the World Cup, you would want to see if your side is able to defend a low score because somewhere down the line it will happen. So this could just be a very good time to test that. And as we read, if there is due, Jadeja and Kuldeep's role will also become critical because there is no guarantee that you will chase in the knockout. So if it is like this, you may want to just be more used to it. And again, it's not they're playing in India for the first time. They've played all their careers here. So they should definitely have more idea of how to deal with it. But new ball wickets massive, because if they don't take 2 to 3 in the first 10, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a special spell to come back from them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Also, the one more thing is that when you're chasing a target like 220, 230 odd, uh, two partnerships away from victory pretty much. And also, let's not forget that these are the kind of matches in which England's batting depth will really aid them. Like when you're chasing 220, right? You can be like 150 for seven, and still you only need like what 70 runs more to win. And we know that someone like Mark Wood, Adil Rashid, David Willey, and all these guys can together score easily 70 runs. So, even more incentive for India to take early wickets, because the only way they are winning this match is by bowling England out. They are not restricting them. So, yeah, I feel it could be, but this does look like a good pitch for Shami because of the skiddy nature
Yeah.
of, especially the Markwood wicket of Shami. Markwood wicket of Shami kind of, uh, you know, struck me that okay, this could actually be a very good wicket for Shami, because he also could get some of these balls to kind of take the bottom edge, or just skid on and hit the pad low, or something like that. So I think Shami will be a key player today for sure.
yeah, which I think is actually a very good indicator that where your slips will stand or where your keeper will stand will be very important, because that will determine where how deep will your slip fielder stand. So another pointer to look out. Nikhil, I am moving to your favorite subject. About the pace, maybe like Karan B is mentioning that the turn seemed to be slow, which wasn't the case in Chennai, but it was probably due to the pace at which Rashid bowled, and Jadeja and Kuldeep could give the correct idea of that. My gut feel is that if Jadeja gets his pace right, he could end up with a three for today, but it's a very big if. It's a very big if. Nikhil, I want you to talk about it, that who are the batters that he could get, or how crucial he is, and is there a case for him to come in as first change today rather than being the fourth bowler or fifth bowler in the attack?
I don't think there is a straight answer to this, because England are going to have lefty righty batting at all times. They have three of them in that top six. You have Malan, you have Stokes, you have Moeen Ali. So one of them will always be there. So if India is able to get early wickets, then I think the job is still far more easier for Jadeja to be able to execute. But without new ball wickets, it will not be easy. And without new ball wickets, it will also be a sign that they might try a bit too much in terms of looking for wickets. So they will need early wickets, and as you rightly said, if he gets the pace right, the thing with Jadeja is he doesn't leave the stumps. And if there is uneven bounce or anything that's there, if he gets one to turn, as you said, he'll end up with three. But for that, he needs to hit that line and just be there. And India have been at times used him very late, is what I have felt. Whenever there is a lefty on that is batting, they've held on to him too much. I don't know whether today they can do that, because I think he can get the lefties out as well. It's not that he can't get David Malan out, or he can't get Ben Stokes out, or Moeen Ali. So it will be better if India take new ball wickets to just ease out the work of the bowling unit as a whole. But goes without saying, before the start of the game, we said about Jadeja and Kuldeep being very key to that middle order. So that definitely remains a concern, a place where India will be concerned if they don't take a wicket.
Anirudh, coming to you, who do you think holds the key for England today in the chase?
Root and Stokes.
Yeah.
I think I just feel that, yeah, Malan, you can say, I mean, the style of batter Malan is, you probably fancy him in this kind of a chase as well. I think Malan, if I'm not wrong, had a similar chase in Mirpur against
Yeah.
Bangladesh, where he kind of scored a century. But uh, this has been a slow-ish track as well, for sure. So Malan will be a key player, but I'm not sure if Malan can survive the Pacers actually. So in
Mm.
that sense, I feel it will be down to Root and Stokes. I don't think India will be hurt by the likes of Brook, Livingston, and all. So I feel it will be Root, Stokes, and then the bowlers. Watch out for the bowlers, because I feel the bowlers have a part to play with the bat in hand. I feel that the likes of Willie, Adil Rashid would might have a part to play with the bat in hand. So if even if England are like 150, 160 for seven, I would still be wary of the result if I was India. So I was like, just be careful with the tail.
Kanan's bringing up an interesting perspective today. He's saying having struggled in the tournament, having to bowl only to right-handers helped Vogue settle into his perfect line and length. Do you think it would have been a factor, or just the fact that he was able to get some swing early on, probably a bit of seam movement as well? What did that allow him to settle into a line early? Any thoughts on this,
Okay.
Nikhil? You could go
In
first.
So I felt it was the deck. The
mm,
deck just helped him. Even if, see, there are decks where you earn, you go for runs. This wasn't a deck where you earn and you go for runs immediately when you are bowling first. So
Mm,
that might not be the case now. But when you are
mm,
bowling first, and if the bat is also unsure of how the deck is going to play, then you still have that small margin of error, which is larger for you. Okay, where you could earn. But credit to Chris Folks, I think their plans were right. They read the conditions well, and it's just one of those days, right? When you hit the first one right, you don't leave that mark, which is what you saw with Willie as well versus Kohli. And he kept staying there. And because the pitch was such that you can't come down and hit, which is what Kohli tried to do eventually. So, no, all of that combined. And yeah, Chris Folks, I mean, it's strange that we talked so much about Chris Folks, David Willie, and all of them. And today is the day that they found their line and length. But yeah, it is what it is. Cricket is a funny game.
Yeah, on that funny note, Sanjay has a very funny comment. He says India's secret weapon, right arm quick bowler, is going to come and take a fifer today. The players are out in the middle, and I think we've pretty much covered whatever we could have. I felt that it was a pretty holistic discussion on India's batting as well as England's bowling plans. And what we did, I thought, which was very important, was that we did not, kept our discussion centered around Rohit or Kohli, which is something that we always try to do. We try not to make our coverage India centric in non-India games, and we try not to make our coverage specific to Rohit and Kohli in India games. So on that note, I hope to see all of you in the review show. Please don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to cricket.com. We did cross the 50 like mark today. Hopefully, we do a lot more. And yeah, please stay tuned for the review show, and hopefully, it's a good result. On that note, goodbye.
Chuck day.
same as